Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, I do have to work today. It is about 6:15 in the morning on this Saturday. But I wanted to come on here because one of the big news items that people are talking about when it comes to WWE is the sudden change to make King of the Ring, which was originally set for the end of May, I believe. I think it was the end of May. For Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, they decided to basically rename it Night of Champions. Now, there's been various speculation as to why this happened. One major speculation and theory, which probably is the most true at times internally as far as WWE goes, is the fact that they're doing it because that'll be when Roman Reigns hits 1,000 days as champion. Now, technically, it'll be 1,000 days as Universal Champion, which is a SmackDown title, and not so much WWE Champion, which he's had for over a year now. So, so yeah, that's one of the more, I would assume, more realistic, not reality, but well, reality based, yeah, but realistic reasonings why the change happened. And honestly, if that's the case, fine. You have your champions all defending their titles, which would explain maybe why we're going to get a rematch in 2 weeks on SmackDown between the Usos, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens. Because we all know that Sami, because of his religion and his ethnicity, his background, if you will, can't travel to Jeddah. He can't do that, or he'll be in danger of, you know, being captured, in prison, maybe having his life ended. So he can't do that. So they got to find a way around it. Just drinking some sorry there. But so they got to find a way around it. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do drop the belts to the Usos, in 2 weeks. That's going to be WWE's way around of, basically preventing Sammy from going. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it's a possibility. It's something to really think about when you get down to it. Another reasoning, though, as to why the name may have changed. Again, the Night of Champions thing, the name changed there for the fact that Roman's going to hit 1,000 days, and you want to have a special occasion maybe to celebrate that by having a lot of championships, if not a majority of the championships defended, is a great idea. Don't get me wrong, but another theory, another speculation that could also be very real, but is not going to be made public, is due to the fact that they're going to be in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, and that the event originally was going to be dubbed King and Queen of the Ring. Now, I know people would say, well, didn't they crown a King of the Ring and a Queen of the Ring there previously? Yes, they did. But it wasn't under the title King of the Ring. It was under the title Crown Jewel. The finals of King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring took place in Saudi Arabia, but the event was not called King of the Ring or Queen of the Ring. This time around it was. And another reasoning people feel that the name was changed was mainly because of the fact that it may have sound, from a, I guess you could say, partnership standpoint, public image standpoint, as far as Saudi Arabia goes, may have felt like an insult to the prince, himself. Like there's going to be no event, about royalty, in his presence. That's another potential possible, if not at times, very real theory and speculation going around as to why the change happened. Now, of course, the other reasoning is, it's Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon's, diddle daddling again in creative, and he's throwing his weight around as much as he can. And one of the ways he's doing it is by renaming King of the Ring into, Night of Champions to, maybe coincide with Roman's 1,000 day reign as champion, mostly with the Universal title. That's another reasoning. But whatever the reasoning is out of those three, you know, I don't think it's that big of a change because technically, just like with Crown Jewel a year or two prior, you could still do the King and Queen of the Ring. You can do that. You have a whole month ahead of you to do that. You could do the first rounds of the quarterfinals and the semifinals on Raw and SmackDown. That's fine, and then you have the winners of those semifinals and quarterfinals, if you will, most of the semifinals meet, in the tournament. And if it's basically, hey, you got the Raw winner taking on the SmackDown winner, for the men and the women, that's even better because you can now kind of promote the King of the Ring as being one of the rare times throughout the year, if you stay true to this, as getting into promotional matchups. Basically determine who's going to be king and queen of WWE for that year, or at least for that time period. So, so they can still do it to where you, like you say, you have the winner of the SmackDown bracket for the men and the women take on the winners of the Raw bracket for the men and the women, at Night of Champions. So you can still technically do it. You're just not doing it under the event name of King of the Ring. You know, that's the only thing. And like I said, they've done it already prior with Crown Jewel, so it wouldn't be nothing really new. I mean, I understand a lot of folks were hoping and praying that King of the Ring would make a return, and this did seem like it was going to be the best chance for it to happen. But again, we have to remember there are various, maybe logical reasons, if not, I guess you could say, publicly image reasons, going around that we may or may not agree with because that, caused the change to happen. You know, is it something that needed to happen? Name wise, name change wise? No, no, it didn't need to happen that way, but it did. It happened, and again, there's various speculations. One is the fact that it's gonna coincide or collate with, not coincide, but collate with Roman's 1,000 days as champion. The other reason is because, respectfully, they don't want to feel like they're insulting the Prince of Jeddah. So, they're going to name it, differently. They're going to go with Night of Champions instead of, King of the Ring, everything. But, technically they could still have the tournament, at least the finals, that is. And, of course, the other more, go-to reason is it's Vince McMahon. And, believe what you want to believe. Excuse me, believe what you want to believe when it comes to any of that. That's your opinion. That's if you feel Vince is behind it, go ahead and believe that. If you feel, it's being done to correlate with Roman's 1,000 days as champion, believe that too. Or if you want to believe, hey, it's done for, safety reasons, public reasons, respectful reasons, if you will, because hey, it's the prince they're performing in front of, and this might feel insulting to him. Believe that too. Whatever the reasoning is, though, as long as we get a good card, which these do, believe it or not, deliver on, despite who's running things behind the scenes, as long as we get a good card from top to bottom, even with the King and Queen of the Ring finals included, I don't mind the name change whatsoever. Because when you think about it, King and Queen of the Ring are kind of championship titles themselves. True, they may not have anything, outside of the winner getting a crown, and a scepter, and that's it, in a robe. They may not have anything outside of that, but maybe that might change. Maybe the winners will get to choose who they want to challenge, for the championship, or, when they want to challenge for a certain championship, depending on what brand they're on. They might get that. They might get that along with a crown, a robe, and a scepter. But that's up to time itself to tell, if you will. It's up to time itself to tell. But I don't have a problem with it. I really don't. I think I think it's just, it's just something that, in business, things like this happen. You look forward to something. It's still going to be the same kind of event, but just, things, there's little slight changes here and there. One of the slight changes here is the name change, and that's it. So I don't have a problem with it. And again, as long as we get a good card from top to bottom, including the finals for both King and Queen of the Ring, again, I don't have an issue with it. But what are your guys' thoughts? What do you think are the three reasons are more legitimate? Do you think it's because it's to correlate with Roman's 1,000 days as champion? Do you think it's a public image situation to where they don't want to feel like they're insulting the prince, if you will, of Jeddah, of Saudi Arabia? Or do you think maybe it's just Vince meddling? What are your thoughts? Let me know down below and in the live chat. And until next time, guys, I will talk to you all later.